Okay, so algebra, find the missing term. So what we're going to be doing is adding and subtracting fractions where we're actually missing a number in the middle. And if you're missing a number in the middle, that is considered algebra. And often to do algebra, you have to consider the inverse operations. So let me write inverse here. And inverse means opposite. So we're going to talk about the opposite of each operation so we can get used to how to do algebra. So let's make a little table here. Let's say we have addition. What's the inverse of addition? Subtraction. And then if you have subtraction, the inverse of the opposite is addition. And if you have multiplication, yep, the inverse is division. And if you have division, the inverse is multiplication. So we need to consider that when we're doing it. So let's do an addition problem. We'll start off pretty easy. Let's say we have 5/13 plus n over 13 equals 11 over 13. So this is algebra because we're missing a term in the middle. Here we're missing the n. Over here we're missing that term. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the two terms that we have and we're going to subtract them to get the middle term. So we have to start with our answer and work backwards. So 11/13, you start at the end, and now that was addition. Now we subtract, and then you have this term here, 5/13. So 11/13 minus 5/13 equals 6/13. All right, so our middle term is 6/13. So the first thing I want to check is that it's over 13, and it is. So our n equals 6. Not too bad, right? All right, but we're going to take it up a bit here, take it another notch. All right, so now let's do another one. Let's say we have 5/6 plus n over 3 equals 1.5. Uh-oh. So now we see it's already a lot harder. We don't have a common denominator, and we have a mixed number here at the end. But the steps remain the same. So we have to work backwards. So we're going to take our 1.5 and subtract what we have. We have 5/6. Well, we need to convert our 1.5. Since 2 goes into 6, we're going to multiply it. Times 3 equals 6. Times 3 equals 3. Bring our 1 over. So we have 1 and 3, 6 minus 5/6. All right. Now we see we can't do it. So we either have to regroup or make the 1 and 3, 6 improper. I like making it improper. I think it's a little shorter. Either way, it's going to give you the exact same answer. So 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So we have 9/6 minus 5/6. Well, that equals 4/6. So our middle term is 4/6. But wait, look, it's over 3. So we have one more step to do. And this is taking you back to the skill that we did a couple earlier in the study guide. So what we need to do is set our 4/6 equal to our n over 3 equals n over 3. Well, you've seen this before. We see where we have our two terms, which is down here. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3, and 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So now we have 2/3, and we have our 3 here, so our n equals 2. All right, let's do another one. 2.5 plus 1 and n over 3 equals 4 and 1/6. So what do you do first? Why don't you pause the video and see how far you can get? All right, so what you should have done is you need to subtract. You have 4 and 1/6, so you're going to do 4 and 1/6. You're missing the term in the middle, so you'll subtract minus 2.5. Let's see where we go. All right, so 2 goes into 6. We'll convert this here. So times 3 is 3/6. Put our 2 in front of it. Then we have 4 and 1/6 here. Boy, all the skills are coming into play, aren't they? So we have 4 and 1 6 minus 2 and 3 6. So we need to regroup. Wow. 4 becomes a 3. You take the denominator and add it, put it over itself and add it. So now you have 3 and 7 6 minus 2 and 3 6. You subtract that out and you get 1 and 4 6. Well, we're really, really close now. A lot of steps, isn't there? We have 1 and 4 6 here, and we have 1 and n over 3. So what we need to do is set it equal. 1 equals 1 and n over 3. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So divided by 2, divide this by 2, is 2. So our n equals 2. Our n equals 2. Okay, so let's do another addition. Okay, let's do one more here, another addition problem. So let's do 2 and n over 6. So now we have our missing term at the beginning. Doesn't matter. Plus 2 and 1/3 equals 4 1/2. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and pause the video and see what you come up with. Okay, so if the first term is missing, you don't do anything different. So you have 4 1/2. So 4 1/2. And then you have to subtract. So we have our second term here, minus 2 and 1/3. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's write it up and down. So we're going to need a common denominator. So our common denominator you should probably see is 6. So let's make them both equal to 6. If you needed to list the multiples, that's fine. 3 times 2 times 2 is 2 6. So we have 2 and 2 6. And then times 3 is 4 and 3 6. So now we have 4 and 3 6 minus 2 and 2 6. So 4 and 3 6 minus 2 and 2 6 is going to give you 1 6. And 4 minus 2 is 2 and 1 6. So we come back over here. It's already in 6. So this one we just leave. So our n equals 1. Did you get that? Okay, so let's try. Okay, so let's do a few subtraction problems. I'm going to put a regular subtraction problem that's not a fraction up here first. Let's say we have 5 minus 2 equals 3. When we were adding, we noticed that if we were missing the first two, any of the first two terms, we had to subtract to get to it. We had to do the inverse operation. With subtraction, it's different. It depends which one you're missing. For example, let's put a variable in the middle here. Say we have 5 minus n equals 3. Well, in this particular case, you would have to subtract 5 minus 2 equals 3. So you would actually have to do subtraction even though it's a subtraction problem. However, if it's the first one that's missing, n minus 2 equals 3, in this case it would be inverse. 3 plus 2 equals 5, because you have to keep in mind that the first number is always the largest in a subtraction problem. So it depends which one you're missing, and you don't have to memorize it because you're going to do what you think, and you'll probably be right, and at the end you'll substitute it in and see if it makes sense. So let's go ahead and do a problem here. 7 and n over 5 minus 4 and 3/10 equals 3 and 3/10. So now you're missing the first one. So you could see here, I mean, even if you don't remember the rules, 3 plus 4 is 7, so you're obviously going to have to add them. So let's go ahead and add these up and see what our n is. So we have 4 and 3/10 plus 3 and 3/10 is 7 6/10. So is 6/10 our answer? So remember, we're looking for the n here. No, it's an equivalent answer, but we want it in fifths. So let's go ahead and take our 6/10 here, set it equal to n over 5. And we say to ourselves, how did we have it down here? How did we get from 10 to 5? We divided by 2, divide the top by 2. 6 divided by 2 equals 3, so n equals 3. And then if you substitute that in, you'll see that it makes sense. 7 3/5 minus 4 3/10 equals 3 3/10. All right, so that's pretty much the addition and subtraction. I'm going to go ahead and give you a word problem that's going to be on the quiz. All right, this will be the last problem on the quiz, and not this exact problem, but one like this. Patrick wants to walk 10 miles in 4 days. So he wants to walk 10 miles in 4 days. On Monday, he walks 3 1/8 miles. On Tuesday, he walks 2 1/4 miles. And on Wednesday, he walks 1 3/4 miles. How far must he walk on Thursday? So what you need to keep in mind is this here, 10 is the total he needs to walk for 4 days. And we need to add the 3 up and then find out how much less than 10 that is to get our total. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an expression. So 10 is the total, so we're going to put 10 at the beginning, and then we're going to subtract out how far he's walked so far. So we need a total of how far he's walked so far. So we have 3 1/8 plus 2 1/4 plus 1 3/4. So that is your expression. Now you're going to need a common denominator for all three. And remember, according to PEMDAS, parentheses come first. So let's get a common denominator and let's solve our parentheses. So we have 3 1/8 plus, set this equal to 8. So you're going to get 8 2/8. So you're going to have 2 2/8. And then plus, you're going to set this equal to 8 as well. So times 2 is 6. So plus 1 6/8. So here's our problem here. 3 1/8 plus 2 2/8 plus 1 6/8. So let's go ahead and give ourselves some room. Okay, I just got rid of the words so that I could have some room to solve the problem. So I'm going to write this up and down. 3 1/8 plus 2 2/8 plus 1 6/8. So I already have them in eighths. So 1 plus 2 plus 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 9/8. Then add my whole numbers. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 3 and 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 9/8. So this one's going to have all the skills. So 9/8 is an improper fraction. So we have 8 going into 9. Goes one time. So it's 1 1/8. Then we add our 8 to it. So it's 9 1/8. So now we need to subtract that from 10. So let's go ahead and bring our 10 down. So we have 10 minus 9 1/8. Well, you're going to have to regroup here because you have 10 0/8. So the 10 becomes a 9. We take the denominator and put it over itself. That's another form of 10. So 9 8/8 minus 9 1/8 equals 7/8. So 7/8 of a mile Patrick must walk on Thursday. So this is your answer. So on the test, you're going to definitely need to be able to write the expression that you need. And then you're going to have to be able to solve it. So don't forget to regroup when necessary. All right, so email me or ask me in class if you have any questions.